Hi, and welcome back. If you'll recall, last time we covered the @produces annotation so that we could send JSON objects back from our server without including any special headers. Now, if you have an app that's just supposed to display some static data that it receives from a server that you update all the source code for all the time, this is probably just fine. But if you're like most people, you actually want to be able to maybe submit some data to the server, send it. So in order to do that, we're going to create a method that can actually receive data. And all you have to do is go to your people API class that we've been working on, add an annotation for @post. It's capitals, and again, that's in the JavaX Web Services RS package. And it's going to be public person post person p. Now, this method doesn't really look like anything, but we can add a few things. So let's at least add a log. Person received and we're just gonna implicitly call the toString method right here. So all this is gonna do is it's going to receive a person from JSON that we post, and it's going to print it out, and then it's going to echo it back to us. So nothing fancy here, but it's a good example to get started. So go to your terminal, make sure you start your server, or kill it and restart it if you've already had it running. Okay. Now let's open another terminal window, and we're going to do a different kind of curl this time. So last time we did a get on this URL, which is sort of implicit with curl, but now we're going to use post. And for those of you who are new to this, the fact that this post looks the same as this post in the code is no accident. Post is an HTTP method that allows you to send stuff. So you can send one item per post. It's slightly more complicated than that, but basically you're allowed to send data. So we're going to add another command line argument here, which is --data. And we're going to put single quotes around this because we don't want the terminal to do anything to these characters or try to insert environment variables or do bash globbing or anything like that. So we're going to make a JSON object by putting these curly braces. And so if we do this, this is actually sending a blank or empty JSON object. So let's do that. You're going to see kind of a funny response. Okay, so it just sent some random response back. We need to look at that with I. That was my bad. Unsupported media type. You're probably wondering what's going on. We sent JSON, and our API speaks JSON, right? Well, sort of. So it produces JSON, so it knows how to send JSON back, but it doesn't know that the thing that you're submitting is encoded in JSON. So in order to send something in JSON, you have to include another header. So just like last time when we used the -h to create a header, we're going to do the same thing, except instead of accept, we're going to use the header content type application JSON. Now let's send this and see what our method does. And I'm going to switch back to the terminal where our server is running so you can see that that print statement executes. All right, So it echoed it back to us. We got a 200 OK, that's what we wanted. The content type was application JSON, so it knew what we were trying to send it. And it sent us back the object that we posted to the API, which was null. Everything was null. Now, some of you are probably wondering how this part works. Like, if I sent this blank JSON object, how does it know it's a person? Well, it sort of doesn't. It just assumes that it should try to decode or deserialize the string that you sent here as if it is person. And since we didn't include any properties that are named like these variable names, it just assumed that everything was null, which is probably a fair assumption. So let's do this again, and this time we're going to add a couple of properties to the JSON. So we're going to put a double quote, name, and then a colon. And for those of you who've used JSON before, this is probably not feeling new to you, but just get into the habit of this. And we're going to give this person a name, and then we're going to put a comma, and then in quotes the other property, age 25. And we're going to hit enter again. All right. So it received it, and it sent it back to us. And as you can tell, we had two print statements that ran that said person received, the name was null, and the age was null the first time around. And this time the name was Sim, and the age was 25. So that is how you do post, and that's how you're going to submit data to a real API. Check back next time for more tutorials. Take care.